Hi, this is Laura with Embodied Style. I am a Kibbe soft dramatic body type, self diagnosed. I do a lot of my posting over on Instagram, so you can follow me there at Embodied Style, where I give tips for soft dramatics, but also for style in general for all the body types, including some embodiment tips that are more like personal development type talk. So today I want to talk about a long overdue video, and I'm even using a mic because I really want you to hear this because the obvious elephant in the room, I constantly talk about how discovering my body type was a game changer, and I don't ever say how I figured out what my body type was, and I want to help you maybe learn what yours is. And I will say this is not the most comprehensive guide. There's other people that have done that really well, and I'll link to those videos. But this is what I have found to work for me and when I'm trying to help other people figure out their body type. So first of all, this work is based on celebrity stylist David Kibbe in the 80s, who wrote a book called Metamorphosis. He had styled hundreds, maybe thousands of women, and started to notice that they really kind of loosely fit in these categories. And once he understood certain things about their fleshiness, their bone structure, their yin yang, where they are on the spectrum of yin and yang, he then knew how to style them and what lines to dress them in. So it's all about dressing for your lines to like harmonize. And when you wear that perfect outfit and you're like, why is this working? Why do I feel amazing and so in my element? And someone else could put on the same outfit and not have the same result. What is that? What's that magic? So he wrote a book about this, and it's dated, it's in the 80s. So the pictures he uses are very, 80s-esque. But I did learn he's releasing a new book, which is amazing because you cannot get a copy of Metamorphosis. It's like hundreds of dollars on eBay if you can even find it. So this is huge because his work has really taken off because people find it so useful. So this is his proprietary system, and nobody can officially type except for him. So there'll be a lot of talk about celebrities being certain types, and you might see David Kibbe verified. He actually said he believes this celebrity is this type. Now, that being said, he wrote the book, I imagine, because he wants us all to find this system useful and helpful and to apply it to our lives. So a lot of people on YouTube are trying to do just that and really share the benefits of his work. So there is you can take an online quiz. So there's a website called The Concept Wardrobe. That was the quiz that I first took when I started discovering body types. I first learned about them through Ali Art on YouTube, who's just the GOAT in terms of really breaking down what the types are about. And I just became so intrigued. This is fascinating. I want to know what my type might be. The quiz, so it sounds like, oh, it's easy. Just take the quiz and it is really challenging to take. And I think that is mostly because we really don't see ourselves objectively. And if someone says, do you have a broad nose? And you're sensitive about your nose, you don't really see it clearly. You might think having a broad nose is a good or a bad thing. We just bring so much into it that unless you've looked at hundreds of noses and you really understand where yours falls, it's hard to answer the question. So even with all the experience I have when I'm taking the quiz with other people, it's still difficult. So certainly give it a try and maybe have people help you take the quiz that might be a little more objective than you are. You want to take a photo of yourself standing in the mirror with no angle, so completely straight on, standing straight with the least amount of clothing possible so you can really see your body and your flesh. So I'll put a link to the Concept Wardrobe quiz, and I like that one because it has a lot of photos. So you can say, I don't know, do I look more like that one? Do I feel like that body type is possible for me, even if I'm not that weight? I feel like the way her body curves, there's something in it that feels familiar, versus when I see like a very athletic body type that's like very straight, or someone that looks petite, I like would never see myself in those body types. So process of elimination is really helpful. There will be some that are just, you're definitely not. I feel like dramatics are pretty easy to rule out whether you are or you're not. And a lot of that has to do with the height. So dramatics, soft dramatics, flamboyant naturals, dramatic classics, these types are all typically over 5'5". Now that's not a hard rule, because this is really more about like the essence of the way you appear. I have a friend who's 5'7", 5'8", and she typed as a gamine. And gamines are typically on the smaller side, and she's a gamine. Like, she has those like delicate childlike features, and gamine lines really work for her. So it's not mathematical by any means. So I would say take the quiz and then start listening to videos, and I'll link to some playlists with videos about the types, and learn what they're about. Not only a description of what you might look like or be perceived as within a certain body type, but read about the style lines and the recommendations for that type. This is where it really became meaningful for me, because I took the quiz and I actually did type as a soft dramatic right off the bat. But it was when I read the recommendations where all the puzzle pieces started to fit together. Now, if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, you think about your style, you're likely aware of it, and you have all these data points throughout your life. Like, this really works for me. This look really works. This type of garment, this like drama or this playfulness really works. So when I read the soft dramatic description, it was as if somebody had written down all these conclusions I had already come to, but didn't know they were part of some greater theme. I was like, oh my God, that is true. And oh my gosh, I do that. Or I feel like I want to do that, but I feel like, I talk a lot about living in Vermont, where people, it's not like a glamorous state where people dress up a lot. If you're dressed up, you'll often get asked like, oh, are you going somewhere special? And soft dramatics, like, we just are naturally kind of diva-esque. And I just really love to be extra and dressed up. And I just have really come to accept that that's part of who I am, that it's not me trying to like be better or be extra or whatever. Now if someone's like, oh, you going somewhere? I'm like, no, I just look like this. Like, it's so validating to just feel something you already knew, like mirrored and described. I can't even tell you how much that has been such a lift for me. So I would say read through the types. There'll be some that you're instantly like, no. And then you might kind of start to hone in. You might instantly watch a video about soft classic and be like, yes, all that makes sense. And remember, it is not about putting you in a box. Like, now that I know what type I am, I can only wear these things. No, you're going to get recommendations, you're going to get guidance on why things work or don't work, and you're going to be able to play with anything. It's just going to expand your toolbox and give you more ideas and more inspiration. And I just really, and most importantly, you're going to start to love yourself. You're going to start to see things that you might have seen as, I don't fit that perfect body type, whatever you've decided that is, or culture has decided that is, and you felt like you had to be that. You're going to stop fighting it. You're going to stop saying, I need to get closer to that type to be beautiful. And you're going to realize, oh my God, they're like fleshy, like, this little underarm flesh that I was always trying to get rid of before. I'm like, you're a soft dramatic, babe. You're just fleshy. And that's just how it is. And that's beautiful. And, I'm never gonna be like feel delicate necessarily. I'm just gonna be like strong and bold, and I'm gonna know that my body and my features can carry the weight of drama and then some soft romanticism. Like, oh, I hope everyone feels as fortunate as I do. Like, I'm so glad I'm a soft dramatic. I don't feel like I could be anything else. Like, I hope you feel like you find your home when you discover your type. And you don't feel like disappointed. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like it felt like coming home. So I hope this is helpful. Do leave a comment. Tell me if you've had experiences discovering your body type and what that has meant for you, or if you're trying to discover it and where you're struggling. There's also a ton on Reddit. There's forums you can submit to and say, have people try to help type you. There's a soft dramatic forum that I love, and women will post and be like, I think I'm a soft dramatic. What do you think? And then what do you think of this outfit? Like, there's so much support out there if you're just willing to dive in and go down the rabbit hole and find it. And yeah, I'd love to hear more about your experiences. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.